Good afternoon, friends. Now we are ready to begin our session, today's session. Within 1 or 2 minutes, we will be presenting our seminar lecture today. Friends, I'm here in Mumbai, and today this seminar will be from the new destinations from Kharghar, and my presentations will be basically on the METERIA MEDICA, and I hope you get a better understanding about the topics today. Friends, now we had been reading METERIA MEDICA a lot, and almost along with the most of the cases, one of the wonderful medicines that come to our mind is of the sulfur, and it seems to be indicated everywhere, and that's why it became one of the most controversial remedy, as well as one of the most polycrest remedy, and as well as also the most misused medicines. I say it is misused only because uh, whenever we think that we are unable to prescribe, we feel that it is better that we should prescribe the sulfur or the nux vomica or some of the polycrest medicines. Friends, today the sulfur, I am going to present on the sulfur, which is an essential element for all life. And it is one of the most minor constituents for the fat, body fluids, and skeleton. And it is one of the most minor constituents for the fat, for the skeletal minerals. And everywhere we see on the earth crust, inside the body, outside the body, and everywhere the sulfur is available. Sulfur is the key component of most of the protein, and it contains is in the form contained in the amino acid methionine and cysteine. In people, hydrogen sulfide is in very small concentration can be metabolized, but in higher concentration it kills quickly by preventing respiration. It is insidious that uh, it deadens the sense of smells quickly, meaning victims may be unaware of its presence. So what we see, sulfur is present, but most of the time we may not sense the sulfur to be present there. It is only because it has the activity, it can desensitize our sensing ability. Sulfur uh, has been known to us, and it is related to us, and it is related to the entire universe. It is one of the measures. That's why we feel that this medicines became one of the most prominent homeopathic medicines of the METERIA MEDICA. And life on earth would not exist as we know it today without sulfur. So what we see, what we have, what we understand, and whatever there about our consciousness, these consciousness are basically important for understanding the universe. And our consciousness is greatly influenced by the sulfur. And because of the presence of sulfur, our consciousness get widens, and we can understand, we can perceive, and we have the desire to learn, and to living on the earth. It is very much important, very much necessary that we keep on learning. We must nurture our curiosity, and this sulfur is here to contribute in nurturing our curiosity, in making our curiosity more and more stronger with us. Things will be taken granted like milk, cereal, meat, vegetables, egg, fruits, and many other foods contain sulfur. And you see, you drink the milk, you have the cereals, you have the meats, you have the vegetables, you have the eggs. But what about the taste? You want to put your own taste and you make an imaginations by putting some things and making a new recipe out of all the food materials. And every day the basic ingredients are the same. Basic ingredients are the same cereal, same milk, same meat, same vegetable. Yet we are having the different type of the uh, eating things. The same milk is there. We take them as a curd. We take them as a custard. We take them as a sweets. We take them as a in many other forms. So how it is possible? Only because we had the imaginations about the milk and we think that it can be created like this, and we have tasted, we have tried, and we have widened our list of the vast list of the different type of the edible things. Friends, let us have some of the facts of the sulfur. It is essential elements and is produced all over the world. The largely productions occur where sour gas and oil is processed, refined. In most of the factory area, industrial area, where the gases are produced and oils are produced and refined, mostly in the refineries, the amount and the concentration of the sulfur are more. And over 50% of the 70 million tons of the sulfur produced each year is used in the agriculture for food productions. This is very, and the food productions, the cultivations, the farmers, the use of the minerals, manures, these are basically the major contents are the sulfur. And it can be used to reclaim marginal soil for productive cultivations. Like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, sulfur is one of the essential plant nutrients. It contributes to an increase in crop yields, improve the efficiency of other essential plant nutrients. So it is essential nutrition not only for you, not for us, but for the entire universe, to the plants, to the animal, and to the human being alive. And they are the exciting, they are catalyst, they are the activist for our life. Now, the sulfur, the name as you suggest, SULPHUR, sulfur. The chemical symbol has been provided as S, and its atomic number is 16 with the atomic weight of 32.065 rate, and group it belongs to the 16th group, and it is third in the periodic level, and its standard state is solid. Basically, it is available in the solid form, and color is lemon yellow, and it is classified as a non-metal elements. So this is the basic biodata of the sulfur elements and the level of the sulfur in human body. How much sulfur we have? The abundance of the sulfur element in the human life. We have about 2 lakhs ppb by weight, and human abundance by atom is 390,000 atom relative to C is equal to 1,000,000. So this is the level of, you see, you can imagine how much sulfur is present in your body, in your life. Paracelsus, the famous philosopher and famous alchemy father, he is also known as the father of the alchemy. he had nicely quoted about every body consists of three basic ingredients. The name of these are the sulfur, mercury, and the salt. This is the primary understanding, the basic understanding about the life. Life constitutes the sulfur, life constitutes the mercury, and life without salt is impossible. Life without sulfur is impossible. Life without mercury, it is so it becomes the most basic guiding factors to be a human being. Now, there are the hazards and risks associated with the sulfurs also. Because you understand that everything in excess, everything that is beyond the limit, they have got the hazards, they are harmful for our life. Elemental sulfur is elementally relatively harmless, but it is very toxic to many bacteria and fungi. So, sulfur can be used to kill the bacteria and the fungi. Sulfur dust irritates eye and eyelids. For us, we get the irritations in the eye and the eyelid. And carbon disulfide, hydrogen sulfide, and sulfur dioxide should be handled extremely carefully. Hydrogen sulfide in very small concentration can be metabolized, but in higher concentration, it can cause death quickly by respiratory paralysis. See, we are living with the sulfur. We are having the sulfur, but it becomes the poisonous when and leading to the paralysis. Whereas it provides the activity of the life, it has the ability to paralyze our life. So, from stagnation to the motions, it can take you, it depends on the amount of the sulfur contents that is available. It is insidious that it quickly deadens the sense of smell. With the increased quantity of the sulfur, our sense of smell is deadened and is more toxic than cyanides. Sulfur dioxide is a dangerous component in atmospheric air pollution and is one of the factors responsible for acid rain. Friends, carbon dioxide CS2 is an important industrial solvent. It must be handled carefully since it is poisonous. It is easily absorbed through skin and by inhalation. It causes problems in the central nervous system. So, being the wonderful medicines, there are the toxic effects, and this toxicity has given us some clue, idea about its use as a medicinal substance, as a medicinal as a remedy, as a medicine. And sulfur has got the contribution in our light functions. It regulates the sodium, potassium electrolytes pumped within each cell. Sodium and potassium is so much essential to keep you active and conscious, and it is regulated by the sulfur. It also helps in detoxification and is a vital part of the immune system. Sulfur is a component of insulin, and its function along with the thiamine and biotin is a normal sugar metabolic. See what happens with the diabetic cases. In most of the diabetic cases, you may feel now that the sulfur is very much indicated, and because of the presence, because of its getting being present as along with the thiamine and the biotin. It also helps in the repair of the tissue. It has been referred as the nature's beauty mineral. Cosmetic effects of the sulfur, because your hair, your skin, fingernails, they remain strong and healthy because it can maintain the elasticity of the skin. So it has got the cosmetic effect, it has got the maintenance effect, it has got the preservative actions. So varied actions, sulfur is like the motivator for our life. Sulfur has many anti-aging properties. We are becoming old, we are graying, but it helps you in maintaining to have a very a proper and smooth aging. It helps relieve the symptoms associated with the age-related conditions such as arthritis. Sulfur has been used to relieve the symptoms of skin conditions such as eczema, psoriasis, diaper, rash, hemorrhoids, and dry scalp and acne. In fact, countless ointment, cream, lotions, and other types of the skincare products contain sulfur. So sulfur is cosmetics, sulfur is medicines, and it is one of the important medicines for the skin conditions in our homeopathy also. Sulfur is well known for all homeopaths and other beside homeopaths also. The other people also feel that sulfur is medicines for the skin problem. Sulfur also plays a very key role in metabolism of several important B vitamins, including B1, B5, and biotin. So metabolic process is very much influenced. Now, what are the sources of sulfur? Sulfur is found in all protein. So eating a protein-rich diet is one of the best way to ensure the body gets an ample amount. Some of the best source of sulfur includes lean meats, poultry, fish, eggs and egg yolks, milk and legumes, garlic, cabbage, Brussels, sprouts, onion, turnips, kale, lettuce, kelp, seaweed, and some nuts also contain sulfur. Individuals following vegetarian or low protein diet must be sure to supplement their intake of the protein. And general consensus of sulfur is that most people get all they need from simply eating protein. Therefore, there are no recommended daily allowance guidelines for this mineral. So no standard prescription is that this much sulfur you should take, because almost every substance that we are eating which has got the protein, we are getting the sulfur. And considering all the benefit derived from sulfur, it makes sense to make sure protein is a part of the diet regardless of the age. So we can take the age, we can take the protein throughout our life. Now, what happens when the sulfur gets decreased? Since most people get sufficient quantity of sulfur from their diet, instances of sulfur deficiency are extremely rare because sulfur is available everywhere. So deficiency are very rare, but sulfur deficiency includes skin problems or disorder, muscular pain, then nerves disorder, circulatory troubles, arthritis, inflammation, damages resulting from free radicals, stress, infections, constipations, and the wrinkles. So if you want to improve your wrinkles, you can have the sufficient protein in your food so that we don't get the wrinkles. Now, how we came to know about the sulfur? It is known since ancient time. Sulfur is known since ancient time. Sulfur was known in the ancient time and referred to in Genesis as brimstone. Archean text dated around 700 to 600 BC refers it to the product of the riverside, where deposits could be found. In the 9th century BC, Homer mentioned pest averting sulfur. In 424 BC, the tribe of Busters destroyed a city walls using a burning mixture of coal, sulfur, and the tar. Around the 12th century, the Chinese probably discovered gunpowder, a mixture of potassium nitrate, KNO3, carbon and the sulfur. Sulfur is one of the elements which has an alchemic symbol. Alchemic is an ancient pursuit concerned which, for instance, the transformation of other metals into the gold. Alchemists knew that mercury can be fixed with the sulfur. So you just see the symbol. It is called the alchemic symbol, and this alchemic symbol was provided to the sulfur also. Now, nomenclature. Now, sulfur is derived from the word sulfur, SULFUR, and Latin word is SULPUR, which was Hellenized to sulfur in an erroneous belief that the Latin word came from the Greek. Historically, and all literature, sulfur is also called brimstone, which means burning stone. Brimstone means burning stone. And sulfur is mentioned 15 times in the Bible and was best known for destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. It was also known in the ancient Greek and burnt as a fumigant. Sulfur was mined near Mount Etna in Sicily and used for bleaching clothes and preserving wines, both of which involved burning it to the form of sulfur dioxide and allowing this to be absorbed by wet cloths or the grape juice. Anton Lavoisier thought that sulfur was an element, but in 1808, Humphrey Davy said it contained hydrogen. However, his sample was impure, but when Louis Joseph Gray Lussac and Lussac Jacques Ferrand proved it to be the element the following year, Davy eventually agreed. So initially there was a confusion whether it is an element or it is a compound, but because sulfur is not available in the pure form everywhere. It is in the nature, it is always in the form of the compound. So when the sulfur was purified, it was found, it was observed that the sulfur is an element. Now there are so many terminology we are using for the sulfur: brimstone, skiffle, sublimate, sulfur dupratum, sulfur lotum, sulfur and sulfur lotum. These are some of the synonyms. Now, in India, in our own country, sulfur is also well understood. The term sulfur or sulfur derived from the Sanskrit word sulvari, meaning enemy of sulva or copper metals. It is anti-copper. It can destroy the copper. So sulvari was the name given to the sulfur by our ancient saints. Almost all acharya, included Gandhaka. It is also known as Gandhaka in Upsarga Varga. Gandhaka seems to be the best among all ras and upras Varga Dravya. It is also believed that only Gandhaka is available in the form of all type of law into the bhasma form. Sulfur is a component of insulin and its function along with the thiamine and biotin in a normal sugar metabolism. It also helps in tissue repair. It has been I have already told you that it has been referred to the nature of beauty, and in Ayurveda also it has been used variedly for improving the cosmetics value of our life. Now, coming to our homeopathy, the first proving of the sulfur, it contained 151 symptoms in Materia Medica Pura by the Dr. Henneman himself. 151 symptoms. See the minimum number. Now, Allen's Encyclopedia, it contains 4,083 symptoms. And in Radar 9.1, 15,882 rubrics are available, and titrations of the flower of sulfur. So see the journey of the sulfur. beginning with in homeopathy, beginning with the meager number of the symptoms 150 not 51, it has crossed the 15,000 rubrics. And why? Why it is like that? Because sulfur is, we can see the sulfur around us. In every patient we can see the sulfur, but we have to be careful at this moment because every patients are not sulfur. We have to isolate sulfur. We have to learn isolating sulfur. We have to learn where sulfur is actually required. And most of the time, that's why it has been most misused medicines and mistrusted medicines also. Sulfur in homeopathy, now we have our own terminology. It belongs to the mineral kingdom, and we are using the brimstone, and many people write on their prescriptions as a brimstone, which is the flower of sulfur. And formula that we use the S as a symbol for the sulfur, and proved by Henneman. And its duration of action, it has been reported to be 40 to 60 days. Now, when we talk about the duration of action, we must be careful that this duration was for the proving periods only. When you prescribe a sulfur, it doesn't mean that the action of the sulfur may finish or vanish after 15 to 40 to 60 days. It may persist for a longer period depending on the actions that it has created on our life. So this duration of action, usually we take them to be the things that is beyond our control, beyond our practice. Now, sulfur has been given a very grand nomenclature of the king of antisoric, because Henneman's miasm of psora is the main cause of the chronic disease, and almost every symptoms of the psora is present in the sulfur. Now, psora word itself came from the suppressed itchage, which means the chronic constitutionally susceptible to the disease. So chronic susceptibility. So sulfur is there to remove the susceptibility. Homeopathic theory of chronic disease is built upon this fundamental concept of psora. He describes psora as a hiding multi-headed hydra, which expresses its presence in the organism in form of multitude of chronic elements with periodical acute exacerbations persisting until the death. It appears are different. Whenever you see, you have to learn diagnosing and observing patient, because sitting with the patient is essential aspects. That's why Dr. Henneman spoke about the case-taking process. Case-taking process is a meditation with the patient, living with a meditated mind with the patient to have a interactions and exposure of the inner side of the life. Viewing the life from the physical material body and trying to see the invisible things is the aspect of the case-taking in homeopathy. And this approach only can help you understand the chronic miasma. Potentized sulfur is supposed to be an antidote of this chronic miasm of psora, and hence the sulfur is the king of the antisoric. Sulfur and sulfur-containing substance can interfere in hundreds of essential biomolecular interactions through competitive inhibition and produces pathological errors in the vital process. Sulfur and fire from the heaven. The ancient story goes like that. God, the creator of all substance in nature, has put before us elements that can heal us in a small concentration and affect us determinately in larger ones. God has sent to you on this earth, not without any medicines. You are surrounded with the medicines, and every element that is available on the earth, they have got the healing power. But you must understand their concentrations, must understand their reliability. They must understand how much they are close to their. Sulfur heals the disease and agitations related to burning, such as with the skin, heart, and joints, and can be used to treat individuals that uh, suffer from an inability to connect with their surrounding. When you are not able to connect, what happens? A lot of the anxiety and restlessness is there, with forgetfulness and similar characteristic feature. We burn inside. We burn inside in absence of the sulfur. In vast quantity and high concentration, sulfur is very destructive. It is, has the ability to acidify arable lands, making it unfit for growing crops. When it is found in the rainwater, it changes the pH level and therefore determinately affects the plant growth. So sulfur has been termed as a fire from the heaven. When the in the rainwater, if contains the sulfur, if content of the sulfur is there, the land becomes deserts by killing all the plants on this planet. So that's why it was called fire from the heaven. Biblical passage regarding the sulfur in the Bible, there are the story of Sodom and Gomorrah found in the book of Genesis. Sulfur and salt, a conflagration or of its entire land, and cannot be sown, and it cannot sprout, and no grass shall rise up on it. Sulfur and salt, they are the entire cannot be sown. The Torah indeed described the process of Sodom's unhevel, and God has rained upon Sodom and uh, uh, upon and Gomorrah sulfur, ash, and fire from God out of the heaven. He outturned these cities and the entire plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and the vegetations of the soil. So see the curses of the sulfur that he mentioned in the Bible, Genesis 19.24. Acid rain on Sodom and Gomorrah. There was at first rain and only then sulfur and the fire. The rain contains the sulfur, the water contains the sulfur that acted like a fire. The problem of acid rain is a problem that stems from the not caring about what happens to the next person down the ecological line, whether on our home front or assess the globe in less developed countries. Homer, he has used the sulfur, vapor of the sulfur, burning sulfur. Legend has it that sulfur used the vapors of burning sulfur to purify his residence. So, purifying, that is sanitizations nowadays, the word we are using, the sanitizations can be done with the burning sulfur inside the house. Sulfur likewise has for long been used in Chinese and were termed medicines for skin disorders and as an antiseptic. It was used in medieval Europe too to clean the body, blood, and keep the bowels healthy, especially for the children. So now let us see our understanding about the sulfur. Let's better in the ignited kingdom. Now we are entering into the ignited kingdom, the kingdom of the sulfur, where we have to burn to learn. Burning and learning, it goes together. Until you burn from inside, you cannot learn. So sulfur is known as the ignited kingdom because it burns you to learn and pressurize you to learn, motivate you to learn and think and go beyond the philosophy. Burning, where it burns our spirit, it burns our mind, it burns our body. It burns everywhere. And when we have the burn, what is the meaning of the burning? Burning is that which keeps you excited, which keeps you motivated, which keeps you anxious. Be ready to, and it increases your passions. To be a passionate, to be a curious is the basic characteristic feature for the human life. So burning is the characteristic feature um, for the sulfur, and you can see the burning has become the one of the important symptomatology for this sulfur. Everywhere you see the burning, you can think about the sulfur. Your chest is burning, your stomach is burning, your as a symptoms, the pain and all sensations are like that of the burning. And this is important contribution, understanding that we can keep in our mind when, while we are selecting a medicine. Extending life beyond the horizon, and this burning, what happens? You can crosses the limit of the horizon. क्षितिज के पार, क्षितिज के पार. A dream is a bearer of new possibilities, the enlarged horizon, the great hope. Every aspect of life activities are beyond the limit. So, if you want to make a big change in your life, you have to extend beyond the horizon, the limit. There is no limitations in the for the human life. Human life has crossed the boundary of the planet Earth. It has traveled to the moon. It has traveled, getting prepared to reach the Mars and the Mercury and the other planets. The imaginative genius more inclined towards philosophy than practicality. What happens when you are living in a philosophical world? You become less practical. You forget about, you become the novice in your daily routine. And sulfur individuals are naturally gifted with the extraordinary mental and emotional and creative ability. They have the ability. They are the thinker, they have the think tank. They are emotional, they are creative, they are ability. But what happens? They cannot look about themselves. Sulfur has been termed variedly to be the dirty fellow. Can you imagine a dirty fellow with a lot of the emotions and the mental? They goes together. At some of the sulfur types that have graced our history pages, Socrates, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, the founder of homeopathy, Abraham Lincoln, Albert Einstein, Carl Gustav Jung, and these are some names to just few. Sulfur also figure not just among the great leaders, inventors, and scientists, but also brilliant mathematicians and logicians. All have got the larger amount of sulfur in their life. Individuals who are inclined to respond with well thought and through. They are the sulfur. Well thought and the through. They can go beyond. And rightly it has been said as the rag philosopher. Lacking where they are lacking, where they are cannot take care. They took the man who think about the highest philosophy. It seems that their daily life to be the trifles. They seem the material life to be the very simple, and they don't take care for that. So you can see that they are sulfur has been christened as the rag philosopher. Dr. Herring called them as a rag philosopher. This term was coined by Dr. Herring, probably because they remain in their own world, do not change clothes for days without bathing, have long uncut hair, but working day and night without caring for cleanliness and the decency. But they are clean with their mind. They are decent with their mind, but they are dirty with their physical appearances. Wants to know who made and why, where is the God? And why the world is existing, try to reason without any hope of discovery or possible answer. Sulphur is always speculating on religious or philosophical subjects. Habitually immersed in their own thought and intellectual worlds. So, the thinking and thoughts are the habitual immersion for the sulphur. They are entirely oblivious to their mundane physical surroundings. Clinical psychology recognizes the such sulphur type existence of archetypal personality type. This type of the personality sulphur type are archetype, absorbed in their own thoughts. The people who are absorbed in their own thoughts. Sulphur requires a good deal of emotional and physical support. Though people who are not having a caring their physical body, they must be supported for the physical. They need care by the near and dear ones. So having a habitual stoop in the soldier and the back. This is the stoop soldier of the sulphur. Why this soldier has stooped and the back has stooped? Because they are leaning forward. They are trying to lean forward. See, just I am giving you the example here. This is the straight, and this is used that this figure it gets curved. Why they get curved? Because they are leaning forward, trying to see the object, becoming more observant, trying to see the things which are invisible. When you look for something invisible, you have to concentrate, and for concentrate, you have to bend your shoulders, you have to bend your neck, and that's become the habitual stooping of the shoulders and the back. Seats of action, pharmacodynamics, where it acts. It has been circulatory system, nutritional system, mucous membrane, joints, serous membranes, rectum, skin, gland, vertex, portal systems, and urethra and source. So blood is very much affected. Nutrition, your gastric system is very much there, and mucus secretions are also observed. Physiological action of the sulphur, it is a mild, laxative and diaphoretic in nature. In full dose, it is an irritant to the stomach and intestine, increases the secretion of the intestine and glands, and promotes peristaltic action. It repairs ingestion for any length of time, causes anemia, emaciation, tremor, and great debility. It is eliminated through the skin, producing roughness and exfoliation, vesicular, eczematous furuncles, and other forms of the eruptions. So, sulphur creates a new excretory organs in your body, and that is the skin, by peeling off your layers of the skin. Symptoms of poisoning are those of asphyxia and muscular tremor, followed by convulsions and death. Physiopathological changes. It acts especially upon the nervous system, primarily the venous capillary system, through which affecting profoundly the entire vegetative sphere. It acts on the venous circulations, produces a small sort of plethora, fullness. It is the result of irregularities in the distribution of blood, by which certain parts of the body are congested. Blood darker in color and rich in white corpuscles. Its action is centrifugal. That means it acts from within outward. It has a great affinity for skin, producing various forms of eruptions. And that's why with the center of the action is centrifugal actions. You see the lot of the eruptions, and it has the ability to produce the things as an eliminative process. Diarrhea is well known with the sulphur. Skin eruptions is well known with the sulfur, and scabies and itchings are there. It produces venous plethora. It has portal status manifesting as redness at the mucous membrane, the nostril, lips, and anus. So what you see, the nostrils, the tips, all the opening parts of the your uh, body, nostrils, lips, anus, they are usually red in color, which is very much remarkable for the sulfur. It acts on rectum, producing diarrhea or constipation, and also produce hemorrhoids. It affects the brain, producing some alteration in the function that organ. It acts upon the spine, producing irritations. The sexual organs are always excited by sulfur. It also affects particularly the lymphatic glandular system. It acts on mucous membrane of eye, bronchi, urethra, and rectum. Sulfur has been reputed as capillary stimulant for to the circulation of the skin and mucous membrane and to the venous system of the pelvis. Now it covers any kind of persons, any type of the person. Persons may be quite refined to typically arrogant, lazy, and irritable. So philosophical theorizing, what want to penetrate into the deep secret of the universe. But opposite side is the practical, idealistic, and mechanical. These are the opposite pole of the sulfur. Where the mind is philosophical, penetrate into the deep secret of the universe. They lack the practical aspect, they lack the idealistic and mechanical. It becomes the mechanical. Characteristics, mental symptoms of the sulfur are very forgetful, great weakness of memory for proper names. Proper name, mind it, proper name. They have the general understanding, but they forget about the simple names. Scientists say that being forgetful is actually a sign of higher intelligence. Characteristics, they are very selfish, no regard for the others, and self-awareness, self-love, self-control, be selfish today. Why? Because they are absorbed. They are not thinking about this physical, materialistic part. They live in the holistic and they live in the spiritual world. So where people feel that they are very selfish. Yet they are very friendly. Yet they are cosmopolitan in nature. Yet they are very. So it is the presentations is like that. They are selfish, but they are not selfish. They are selflessness. They think about the self. Dwells on religious or philosophical speculations. It is one of the important phenomena. They have the ability to understand the metaphysics. They have the ability to have the questions that will make you think. They always try to get a question. It is easier to love or to be loved. Very wonderful quotations from Buddha. It is easier to love or to be loved. There are a strong tendency to weep, timidity and great tendency to be frightened, strong suicidal tendency. I'm just giving you the photographs of Hippocrates. And the face is the depressions. Depressions, why? Just you can understand, because they are not understood properly. Sulfur people get the depressions when they are not understood properly, and that may lead to the closure to make them themselves the syphilitic aspect of the society. Everything looks pretty, which the patient takes a fancy to, even rags seems beautiful. It is one of the important things that they see the beauty everywhere. They try to see the goodness of everywhere. Even in the dirty things, they try to find out something new. Even rags seems beautiful. We can actively look for the good in everything and everyone, even ourselves. It is just a matter of perception. Just a matter of perception. You can see the things in the right way, you can see the things in the wrong way. It depends on you, how you look. They have difficult thinking, delusion that he is immensely wealthy, busy all the time, and childish peevishness grown with the people irritable. So, uh, in they are infantile modo, infantile in nature, childish behavior. You can observe in the childish behavior. The Newton, you might have heard about the Newton, who had created two home for his dog, one for his big, one house for the, one door for the dog to enter, and another door for the cat to enter. Because he said, because cat is small, so this is the infantile behavior of Newton. Averse to business. Imagine giving wrong things to people, causing their death. So they are not capable of doing good business. They are, because they are not materialistic, and risk averse and risk lover. They are both. I am a risk lover outside, but risk averse regarding the investment. The peasant wears a paper crown, thinking he is Majesty the King. He is Majesty the King because he feels that he is the great. He knows everything. There is a feeling of movement in abdomen as of a child. This is important characteristics. Imaginations, because imaginations is get converted and perverted at many a time, and in sulfur you will find many of the symptoms which are perverted only because of the high imaginative power. Nervous temperament and hypochondriacal nature. They become very much fearful about the water. They always seek for the mineral water. Why? Because they fear the contaminations. They are very much fearful about small insects. So it is the characteristics for the sulfur, because they feel, because when they can see the microscopic structure, they have the vision of the something which is invisible. They can see the things which are invisible, and they become hypochondriacal in nature, thinking about the worst side of that also. They have happy dreams and wake them singing in the morning. Dreams are very happy because in the dream world they are alone and they can think and they can live with themselves, so they get a very happy dreams. Great obstinacy, dislike to have anyone near him. They don't want, they are known as the obstinate type of the persons. Why? They cannot change their mind. Sulfur cannot change their mind. You cannot make them to think, not to think. Dullness, misplaced, or cannot find proper words when talking. So, why the mind becomes so much imaginative, they just crosses the limit of the vocabulary, words. So, it is difficult for them to find out the appropriate and expressions, talking and writing. Although they are a good philosopher, it many a time it is difficult for them to make a good speech or make a very, because they have the limited vocabulary. Cannot or can't. Vertigo while sitting or standing. These are the physical things that may arise as a pathology in the sulfur. And faintness, sinking, all gone sensation at 11 a.m. In 11 in must something to eat. Dyspepsia or drunkard cannot wait for the lunch. Such a hurried and fastidious they become. Sulfur is also included as a fastidious remedy in nowadays, because they are hard to please, not the clean to visibly clean, they are clean inside. They are hard to please, they cannot concentrate, change their mind. Burning in various parts of the body, constant heat on the top of the head, vortex with burning soles in the palms. At night, want to cool them. So what they do? They just put out their legs out of the cover, blankets. They keep the want to the air to be there for their legs. Congestions of single part, eye, nose, chest. This is one of the characteristic feature. Physically, congestions are very important. It is like a traffic jam. Congestion is like a traffic jam for the sulfur patients. Air hunger. Feel suffocated once door and window opens, particularly at the night. They cannot tolerate to remain in a closed room because they want always openness, and traveling beyond the universe. Diarrhea. Diarrhea after the midnight is very well known symptoms for the sulfur. Painless, driving out of the bed early in the morning. There are many other remedies. Try to be careful when you see about the sulfur, the driving out of the bed. Constipation's large stool, painful, afraid to pass the stool, on account of pain alternating with the diarrhea. So constipation's alternating with the diarrhea. See the burning aspects of the sulfur. Menses are too early, profuse, protracted. Menorrhagia has not well been since her last miscarriage. So elements after the miscarriage: getting irregular menses, getting the liquorial discharges, getting the sterility, the sulfur may be indicated in these cases. Now, boils comes in crops and various parts of the body. It is coming in not single. Sometimes it is single, but most of the time you will see them to be coming one after the another, one after the another. One ends and new starts, and sometimes the jungle of the eruptions can be observed. Redness of the orifice. Any part of the body is orifice, openings are red. Red, very ear are red. Red nostrils are there. Red eyelids are there. Red mouth are there, or urethra. The red vulva and lips bright red, as if blood would burst through it. Itching, violent itching of the skin at night, burning when scratched. The parts are painful, sensitive to air and touch and the washing. So it is touching, pricky type of the itching is there. It cannot tolerate the things like that. They are ill-nourished persons, dirty, shallow, impoverished child. See the types of the personality of the sulfur. Almost all the philosophers type are like this. The dragon say this is like that of the sulfur. The inside, the heat is coming from the dragon. Periodicity. The time factor for the sulfur is very important. At 11 a.m. appears ravenous hunger, weak, empty feelings in stomach at 11 a.m. Every day relieved by eating, periodical headache occurring once every week, asthma every 8 days. Sulfur is related to both sun and the moon. It has got great affinity during the full moon and the new moon. Cooper cured many cases of neuralgia where it has got the aggravated or the noon or at midnight. He regards every 12 hours as the most characteristic periodicity, but it may be multiple or division of the 12. So in multiple of the 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours, like this. Skinner gave to a man who had paresis of the lower limbs a single dose of sulfur CM with instruction to take it on a certain date when the moon was full. When the moon was full, he instructed This was the prescribing time for the sulfur by Skinner. Relapsing, complaints that continued relapsing fever, relapsing itches, relapsing again and again, symptoms which comes again and again, and symptoms with the relapsing fever are there, symptoms are, so relapsing characteristic features are very important for the sulfur patients. Ascending. Now, in paralysis of legs, numbness extends up to the navel. In rheumatism, symptoms extend to upper portions of the body. So extending part, symptoms going from down, from above, from below down upward. Symptoms traveling upward. This is the important consideration you can think about the sulfur. It has got the absorbing power, absorb the inflammations, exudations, pleura, brain, lungs. It has the absorb to thoughts, concentrations. It can take as many things, infinite, ravenous, and capricious understandings are there with the sulfur. Excoriations. Discharges are offensive and excoriating. Catral discharges excoriates the part over which they flow. Excoriating. Wherever the discharges comes out, the things become itchy and the sore. The discharges, all discharges are very offensive and dirty. They are offensive discharges are there with the whatever from wherever it comes out, from nose, from stool, from urine, the menstrual discharges, liquorial discharges, whatever type of the discharges are there, they are very offensive in nature. And they are uncomfortable. They cannot stand well. So standing is the worst positions for the sulfur. So they always seek support. You see the patient coming to your clinic and leaning behind some table or trying to find a position where they can sit immediately. They have got a strong desire for the sweets, acid, alcohol, beer, and the whiskey. These are the craving food for there are many other medicines also, but these are the most of favorite. The sulfur has got the varied desires, but these are the prominent desires that you can see in this patient. They dislike the milk, meat, or the business. Why meat? They can't eat meat alone. They want the spices meat. They can't eat milk. They drink milk. They want something to be put into the milk. This is the thing, because they want something to be added. Something to be added. They are hot patients, but they don't take bath. Very important. I hate my bath. They are hot, but they hate taking bath. So you see the rag philosopher of the sulfur who want to be clean, but they don't look like clean. They don't look like taking bath. The reactive power within, when carefully selected remedy fails to produce a favorable effect, especially in acute disease, it erodes the reactive power of the symptoms. So reactive and proactive are important characteristics for the sulfur patient. When you have selected a medicine and it is not, so it can act as a removal of the obstructions, clearing a path for your well-selected medicines to act, because sulfur is a cleaner, is also known as the cleaner. Skin itching, scratching feels good until it is scratched. Scratches causes burning and heat of the bed. Suffocative attacks comes in the night. Once the door and window open, become suddenly wide awake at the night, drowsy in afternoon after sunset, wakefulness the whole night. Chronic alcoholism, dropsy, and other elements of drunkard, they reform but are continually relapsing. Combination of contrary symptoms. There are many contrary symptoms. They are very naive, innocent, but they are very intelligent. They are heat, but with the cold feet. Faces are red, discoloration during the chill. Increased appetite vanishing at the sight of the food. Emptiness without hunger. And thirst during chill, but thirstless during fever. Combination of contrary symptoms. Urging after the stool, after passing stool, they feel urge. Increased sexual desire in old men. Cold feet with burning soles. Cold feet during the fever. Sleepiness during the day. See the contrary symptoms. The things which should be there, it is just opposite like that. Offensive odor despite several washing. Emaciation with ravenous appetite in the children. Lack of vital heat but warmth aggravate. Now there are 1,266 rubrics where the sulfur is alone presented. Some of them are anger, tear himself to pieces. Aversion to education. Just see the important phenomena of sulfur. Aversion to get educated. They want education. What is the difference between education and learning? Learning is self-process. They want to learn themselves, but they don't want to be dictated by the others. So aversion to the educations. Cheerful convulsions after the convulsions they become cheerful. Dancing ability for fear urinating water after, and frightened easily, pain from motion of head nodding aggravate. Shaking the head like saying yes, there is a pain in the head. Changing colors of the lips. Sometimes it is one this way or sometimes other. Teeth paralyzed sensation as if teeth paralysis sensation it is. Neck stretching ameliorates. Nausea, breath at his own smell, body of the smell makes him nausea. Rectum formications sitting aggravate. Aconite abuse after sulfur can be used. Abscess, pus and bubbles full of. AIDS accompanied by diarrhea. This is important symptoms for the HIV patients. And convulsions running after. And squash aggravates aversion to. Now the central point for these medicines is self-centered, conceited, imaginative, theorizing persons who are self-centered, conceited and imaginative and theorizing. They are warm-blooded, wants the door and window to be open, burning pain and sensation, local heats ascending, and offensive discharges, excoriating, desire for sweets and spicy food and itching. So these nucleus are just only to keep the memory, but you have to go into the depth of each one of them. So there is a beautiful quotation. Sometimes I have vision of myself driving through hell, selling sulfur and brimstone, or through heaven, peddling refreshment to the roaming soul. If me and the children I have got left could find a place where there is no shooting, I wouldn't mind a few years of peace and the quiet. So driving through the hell, selling sulfur and brimstone, and heaven peddling refreshment, and the roaming soul. Sulfur are the roaming soul. So thank you very much for your patience hearing. You can have any questions. If you have the questions, you can put it on the chat box, or you can mail me on my email risdth@gmail.com, or you may put your questions on 9431020622. Friends, learning is never an ending process. Education is never an ending process. It is the beginning where we have to start afresh. There is no limit for the learning. There is no limit for the age. There is no limit for anything for the learning. So keep learning. And with these blessing thoughts, I thank you very much. I don't see any questions. There are lot of the uh, lot of the chat remarks are there on the chat, but it is only good afternoon and good afternoon. So friends, it is good afternoon, yet it is good morning to you, because with the sulfur, I will never say good afternoon. I'll always say good morning to you all. And I'll always wish you all a very happy learning every time. So friends, it is let us keep learning. Let us be a sulfur. Let us get inspired by the sulfur, and so that we can have a very beautiful life ahead. We can have a better understanding. We can have a better imagination's power, and take the good of the sulfur and leave the bad of the sulfur. So the two aspects are there for everything. Try to accept the goodness and try to accept the mm, good things of that everything. So thank you. I don't see any questions here now. So I hope we close this session, and so that and we will be meeting again on next Thursday. So and I hope that this journey will continue, because we have to keep on moving journey day and night. Thank you.